Hello, I'm Adam Ross. I'm studying an MSc in Audio Engineering, and in this video I shall be exploring the subject matter of the future of session musicians. Session musicians are musicians that are professional individuals. They're professional in a certain instrument, or various instruments, and they perform in recording sessions or even perform for artists and bands. Now, I'm really intrigued with the idea of session musicians due to current technologies, and that they're making it more and more simple to create music and produce music. I feel that these products elude creativity, as most of them are preset loops or synthesizers that really stop the progression of creativity and also music capability of people wanting to learn music or produce their own music. And in this study I will discuss the future of session musicians regarding their position in the recording industry as well as doing stage performance. I found an article in The Independent called Unsung Heroes, Session Musicians Are Given Their Own Hall of Fame. Now, this was written by Andrew Gumbel in 2006. The article discusses fame behind session musicians, but this is not necessarily yearned for by session musicians. The article states, session musicians are to the recording industry much what screenwriters are to Hollywood, the backbone of a huge artistic and commercial enterprise who never quite get the attention and respect they deserve. Now, I do agree with this. However, would they want to be known, or do they just want a constant role and not be made redundant from the recording industry? I feel that is the case. Most session musicians, I feel, probably don't want to be known because they perform with a lot of various artists, because that's what they like doing. It goes on to say some session musicians do eventually have their identities revealed, especially if they go on to enjoy success as a performer, as singer and songwriters in their own right. Andrew Gumbel went on to say how Eric Clapton worked on George Harrison's song, While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Now, I feel this article only discusses and implies that session musicians wish to gain fame, whereas I feel that that's not the case. They practice their craft merely to just have a role and perform their instrument out of passion for their art. I also found a YouTube documentary. It involves interviews with current session musicians discussing various stories and encounters they had in their careers. In this video I will conduct an interview with a freelance session musician called Sam Skirrow, who has performed and toured around the world performing for various artists such as Lion Babe, Rally Ritchie, Meghan Trainor and Clean Bandit. I will discuss various changes in the industry, his opinion of the industry, and I will reflect on his interview and come to a conclusion based on my own opinion and things that Sam has discussed.
Yeah, so I'm a session musician. Have been for about 5 years now, maybe 6 years actually. Play for various pop artists and do session work in studios and stuff like that. So yeah, man, live up in the Midlands, married, got a kid. That's pretty much me in a nutshell. So I used to be a teacher back when I was about 22. Yeah, just one day I just thought, you know what, this isn't for me. I'm just going to take the plunge and do it. So I handed my notice in and left work a few weeks later and then started out sessioning. So that was the first step, I think, is just deciding, yeah, I'm going to do this and committing fully. And I remember pretty much it just started with sending an email out to everybody that I know that was doing something in the music industry. Doesn't matter how tenuous it was. And I'd just say, I need experience, can I come and work for you for free? Yeah. It's whatever, I just need to get, I've got nothing at the moment, do you know what I mean? I was just fresh out of teaching. All I got on my CV was, I'm a teacher, and people are looking for what tours has he done or who's he played with. I had nothing, so I just emailed everyone and said, oh, what experience can I get? And from that I think I got 3 emails back. I got 1 function gig. I depped on a panto for 7 weeks, but I did 15 shows or something. And I did a week on a cruise ship, and that all came out of just sending those emails. None of those things I really wanted to do. I don't want to be a full-time panto player or full-time on a cruise ship, but it was enough to kind of start generating an income and actually like get that feeling of I can actually
Get
work as a
into it.
musician.
Yeah.
There's so many levels to like the struggles, and it's hard not to sound negative about it because it's such a positive thing, like working in as a musician. There's very real struggles of trying to find work, trying to prove to people that you're good enough to work. Like there's mental struggles, how you get over the mental obstacle of doing like an audition, for example, like proving that you can play to someone that might potentially hire you. And then the mental struggle of if you didn't get that gig, how you just pick yourself up and carry on going, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but then, there's physical struggles like schedules and all of that kind of stuff, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how do you, like logistics basically, how do you get your gear, which is in London, to a gig that's up in Manchester, and then the next day you've got to be in Wales or something like that, do you know what I mean? And it's just logistics. And I remember someone saying to me, session musicians are just good at problem solving. And that's the truth, because a problem could be like I said, how do you get from here to here and get your gear from there to there? Or like, how do you play over this song when the artist wants it to sound like this? So it's just problem solving, man, and that's what it comes down to. It's easy to earn a living from it, but it's not necessarily easy to like earn a living doing exactly what you want to do. So the music industry is really broad in that, I could be like teaching privately, so I could have say 10 students. I could be in a function band or two, online teaching or writing lessons or articles or something like that. And then, maybe for a week a year do a pop gig, which is what I love to do. But that would earn me money, but not necessarily be exactly what I want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what have I achieved? Okay, I feel like just the fact that I make a living from playing music, playing with pop artists, is quite a big achievement. I mean, I work at the moment with Clean Bandit. That's probably my biggest gig that I've ever been on. And they're great guys, it's a really good team. So to be part of that is amazing. Played like arenas, like main stage festivals, Glastonbury, Wireless, that kind of thing. So played on like platinum albums and stuff. So like in terms of credentials, that's what I've achieved. But I still think the biggest achievement is I'm making a living out of it. I'm making money. Like my wife can stay at home with my kids, and we don't have to worry so much. I still work hard. It's not like the money's rolling in, but Brexit has made things more expensive. That's the only real thing. At this point in time, that's the only thing that's happened. Obviously, like the whole Article 50 thing hasn't come into play yet. So what that means is we don't yet need to get visas to go and work over in France or Germany or wherever. When that all kicks in, if and when it all kicks in, when someone says, oh, we're going to go on tour in Europe, like the tour manager will then put a budget together, and if that budget was beforehand like 30 grand, now it might have to be 40 grand, and then the label might look at that and say no. So actually, I can see in the next couple of years maybe that will affect the amount of work you can do, because obviously if the label says no, then I don't get to go on tour, so I don't work.
Yeah.
And that actually happened. It wasn't related to Brexit, but that kind of thing happened a couple of weeks ago to me, where we got a 2-week tour set up, all the budget was done, sent it to the label, like we were literally packed our bags and ready to go, and 3 days before they were like, nah, it's too much, too expensive. So, and then I sit around at home for 2 weeks. So do you know what I mean? So I think that kind of will happen, but at the moment the only effect is when I buy my gear, which a lot of it is from Europe, it's now like almost double the price, which is well annoying. So it is actually a real situation because gear is so much more expensive. Yeah, I feel like things go in circles. So there was a time when like session musicians were paid really well and they were kind of higher up the pecking order. Now what you've got is like, what I'm seeing is a lot of bands going out with DJs instead of session musicians, and a lot of studio stuff is now just one producer in a room doing everything, and that is kind of killing off session work in a way. It's definitely thinned it out a little bit. But I'm starting to see producers calling musicians up and just be like, actually we want that live feel, and starting to see artists just being like, yeah, we want energy on stage instead of just a guy on his laptop. So I think for as much as basically the guys with the money, the guys that sign the checks at the top, the labels, they will try and do anything to get it as cheap as possible. So obviously one guy and a DJ is your whole touring party. that's obviously a lot cheaper than taking like a 5 or 6 piece band out with you. At the end of the day, you lose the energy, and I think if you lose energy, then you're going to lose customers, and so it's not a sustainable model for labels to keep cutting prices and do all of that kind of stuff. So I don't think they'll become redundant, but I think what you'll see, and what I'm seeing, is like it's just getting a lot thinner and thinner and thinner. And now people are starting to say, yeah, I want a band back, or I want like live bass or live drums on track, and then you'll just start to see it come back again. It'll never die out because people want that human touch. Yeah, more corners will be cut, and I think possibly people will just be like, no, I'm not having it anymore. Session musicians just be like, don't want to be treated like this, so maybe they'll give up before it becomes redundant.
So, in conclusion to what Sam said in the interview, Brexit can have a little bit of an impact on his career. The main study of this was to find out whether he thought session musicians would become redundant. He brought up how he's noticing a circle and bringing up the performance aspect, how people want to see that human feel to music, which he thinks will always be there. And I agree with him. Now, this obviously can be an ongoing study, and more research can go into this, as it is to do with time. But for the minute, session musicians won't be becoming redundant anytime soon. Thank you for watching.